Hello, hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Serendipity. I'm Dr. Nicole in Florida.
Hey everyone, I'm Kimberly Shinover in Northern Virginia, and I think sunny Florida got us again because it was definitely rainy and cold here.
Good evening and welcome. My name is LaVonda Johnson and I am here in Alabama.
Awesome, awesome. So let's see. We have a magnificent topic that I know you guys are just chomping at the bit to talk about. But guess what? We're going to play our intro and the video first for you, and then we'll be back to have that discussion on the Slack. Just a minute.
Will's got the heat.
This morning, in a Good Morning America exclusive, we are hearing from Denzel Washington, one of the first people to speak to Will Smith just minutes after that now infamous slap at the Oscars.
When the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right. And for whatever reason, the devil got a hold of that circumstance.
Speaking to Bishop T.D. Jakes at his International Leadership Summit Saturday, 11,000 people in attendance, the Oscar winner revealing how he leaned on his faith when he and Tyler went to speak to Smith.
I don't know all the ins and outs of the situation, but I know the only solution was prayer. I don't want to say what we talked about, but there but for the grace of God, go any of us.
Bishop Jakes telling ABC News what Smith did was wrong, but what Washington and Perry did just after was necessary.
I think that they sensed that there was trauma involved and that there was pain involved. And sometimes pain parades itself as anger.
The conversation of faith so impactful, minutes later, Smith mentioned it as he accepted the Oscar for Best Actor.
Thank you, D. Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you.
The speech followed by a standing ovation, and then a week of controversy, which included Smith resigning from the Academy, a public apology to Rock, and how the Academy handled or mishandled the incident. All of it fallout from this, the moment that stunned millions around the world.
Oh, wow. Wow. So let me tell you, when I heard that thing come out, because I wasn't watching the Grammys or the Oscars, neither one. I actually, thought it was a joke. I thought people were joking about it because I thought that it was so out of character for Will Smith to do something like that. So I thought it was part of their thing. But obviously, over the next few minutes and seconds, it became very real that it happened for real. And so, I have very mixed feelings about this because I do, as our title, states, or our question is, should Black men protect their Black women? And so I do think so. I don't think that violence is the way, but I do think that Will reached his tipping point in negative direction. This was not the only time that Chris Rock was on Jada, and I know there are lots of people that don't like Jada Smith, but that's beside the point when it becomes what's going on, what he knows is going on with her at home, and what we definitely don't know. None of us know what's going on there. We just know what we hear and what's told to us. And so I feel that he got to that point. At the same time, it was let out in an aggression like that. And, I think that we've had this discussion on several different times with different people that we've interviewed, especially Mr. Lewis Fields, that when people are hurt, when people are traumatized, that's where you lose your ability to communicate properly, and you communicate through violence. And so I do think that that came through here. Do I think he should stand up for his woman? Honestly, yes, I do. Do I think that that was right, and especially the forum that it happened? No, I don't. And so that's kind of my take on it. I know, though, I have my problem is that this is, instead of holding Will responsible, which is what we should do, whatever his reason, when things are not fair to us that happen and what have you, we still have to take responsibility. And so the responsibility is on him. Everybody can say she told him to do it, she made him do it, or whatever. Nobody can make anybody else do anything. And so that's kind of my stance on that. What do you guys think? I know it's a juicy topic.
Yeah, it is. I was like you, Dr. Nicole. I was totally oblivious of the Oscars and everything that happened. I was at work scrolling social media, and when I'm at work and doing other things, I'm not really paying attention. So I thought it was a joke, just like you thought it was a joke. And then somebody who I respect made a comment about it, and it wasn't a joke. And they're usually joking. So I knew it was for real. So when I took the time to go back and watch it, what I saw, and this is just my opinion and what I saw, I watched it 2 or 3 times after I realized it was for real. I saw that after the joke was made, after Chris Rock made the joke, Will laughed. And to me, it was a real laugh. Like, we know how you do a little fake, like, yeah, I'm going to kind of laugh. To me, this was a sincere laugh. And then the camera cut to Jada, his wife, and she did a laugh, but it didn't completely come out. And then she kind of like, she braced herself. Like it hit her. Like she wanted to laugh, but then maybe it kind of hit her in a different way. And then the next thing I know, he was coming up on the stage. So what I saw was hurt. Nobody knows what it took for her to appear there. Yes, she's had her hair cut like that before several times. We don't know why she cut it voluntarily or not, or maybe she felt okay cutting it before. Even if she had alopecia when she cut it before and she felt okay cutting it, she could be struggling with it now in a way that she wasn't before. So she could have been crying on the floor. Who knows what it took to get her there to the Oscars. And he's the one that sees what goes on behind the scenes as her husband. So I felt like maybe he looked over and saw her, and it wasn't that he, was like, oh, I got to go protect her to save my manhood. He knew the hurt behind what got her there, everything that's transpired before she came. The way he handled it was totally out of character for him. I was shocked. That was one of the reasons why I thought it was a joke, because of all people, I couldn't see Will Smith slapping anybody. So the way that he handled it was totally out of character. Chris Rock handled it well. To me, the joke was not a low blow. I think it was fair territory, but what's fair to me and what's fair to someone else is totally different, because it's my personal pain, it's my personal struggle, and that's why I say we don't know what goes on behind closed doors and what it took to get her to come out like that particular night, and what her struggles may and may not be, or what their struggles between them may have been. But that's how I saw hurt in her face when he made that joke, and she looked at Will and he looked at her, and to me, that's when everything transpired. What are your thoughts, Kim?
I got a bunch to say. So for me, and I felt the same way that you ladies felt. I thought it was staged. Just, I'm sure, like, the audience probably thought it was staged. All of America thought it was staged worldwide. I thought it was staged. When it actually happened, like minutes after it happened, my phone pinged, because I didn't watch the Oscars myself, but my phone pinged. So I went back and I looked. I was like, oh, this is a funny skit. Okay. And then it cut to, like you said, where the aftermath, where he was yelling in the audience, keep my wife's name out your bleeping mouth. So I was like, okay, hold on. Let me see this entire situation. So like I went back and watched the video from the beginning of the incident to the end, and I saw the same thing, except what I saw, I didn't see Jada laugh. I saw her roll her eyes. Like, she was like, I'm annoyed. Here go Chris Rock again, being annoying. So when I saw that, to me, it was like, okay, she's annoyed. However, that's Chris Rock's job. I even went back to see other Oscar performances, award shows, whatever, where he's always cutting to the audience, especially if you're sitting in the front. You're fair game. That's his job. His job as a stand-up comedian, they pay him to come on that stage, tell his jokes, present awards, host whatever. So I feel like they know that about Chris. She knew that about Chris. He knows that Will knows that about Chris. That's what was going to happen. I do think I wouldn't say it was out of character for Will Smith, because I have seen him in red carpets where he slapped what do you call those, reporters, for being out of character. Like a couple of times he's done that throughout his career. So that, to me, I kind of knew he does stuff like that, but to do that to Chris Rock at the Oscars, I thought was way out of line and way out of character. There is a way to stand up for your wife in a very, especially when you're over 40, there's a way to conduct decorum about standing up and protecting your family. To me, like you said, that joke wasn't that much of a dig for you to get up on national television on the stage, walk up and slap another grown man. I didn't see that joke to go that far. He didn't put his hands on Jada. He didn't put his hands on their children. There was no need for you to put your hands on him. That's how I felt about that. And I do feel like Will Smith, like you said, he laughed at first. So what made you, after taking a look at your wife, being like, let me get up and go slap this dude? That didn't make sense at all to me. It didn't make sense. And I do understand in his book, he does discuss, a lot of pain that he went through, but that's not justified. That there's no justification for you to go up and slap somebody else. And then another thing that upsets me is we're all focused on Will Smith and his mental disabilities, or how Jada's feeling about her alopecia, which, by the way, has said on numerous occasions, I don't give a F what anybody says about my alopecia and me cutting my hair. Okay, that's how you feel. I don't see anyone saying, how does Chris Rock feel? He the one that got slapped. Did anyone say, you know what? This man had to bite his tongue, swallow his pride, and he will forever be the guy that got slapped by Will Smith. Forever. Nobody's coming to his aid. We're all focused on Will Smith and Jada. I want to talk about Chris Rock, his pain. We don't know what his childhood was, what he grew up seeing, how he felt. The reason why he tells these jokes, and he's always, pinpointing people out in the audience. Why are we talking about Chris? Why are we so focused on Will Smith and his negativity? That's to me is more of the issue than Will Smith and how he acted. I don't know. That's how I feel. What do y'all think?
Well, I think that I think that they have been, and they've been actually complimenting Chris Rock, which I agree. I think that he handled himself very well after that. That could have gone really, really far south, really, really fast. The impact of that happening in that particular venue, I think, is far-reaching for us as a Black community, because there were, it was the people that ran it, put it together, and what have you, were predominantly, if not all, Black or African American, and so I think that some things can be taken away from that would be unfair. Obviously, in all kinds of different venues, different types of people have acted out of turn, but we know how this can go, especially in the middle of everything that's been going on over the last few years. How we can be looked upon as negative, and maybe not give another group of people advantage to being involved in the Oscars the way that it happened this year. So that's one of my things about that. It goes way beyond Will Smith and Jada Smith. first of all. And then I do think that people have commended, Chris Rock. And again, I do too, although he, we hear that, oh, they know who he is and, what he does and what have you, but he's also their friend, and he could not possibly not know what's going on with his friends. I think it's very unlikely because other people know. And I also know that strong women, um, when you say things that are to guard you, that you're able to put up barriers. So we don't give Jada Smith the right to be able to, come off defensive like that and say, I don't care what anybody says. How many times have we said, I don't care what somebody says, but we totally care, and it's totally tearing us up on the inside. And so I think that we start to not only put these people up on platforms, as higher than humans, but we also make them non-human if something negative is happening to them, and say that they don't have the right to feel whatever. Well, we all know that our feelings are our feelings, and unless we kind of rein them in, they're valid. I mean, whether they come out with some consequences, that's the whole thing. And again, I think that Will needs to take responsibility for what he did. But I think there are a lot of things mixed in here. And I don't think, paying attention to Will and saying he needs to take responsibility for what he did is just over paying attention. That's actually the truth. He needs to do that. And I think that he's done some things to be able to do that. But this should never happen. I mean, violence, it should not happen. Definitely not in that way, and definitely not to words. I think I agree with you, Kim, that there are other ways to protect, and to be in support of. And we can talk about Cory Booker, not coming to the aid of, but giving support to Judge Jackson when she was in the proceedings for confirmation. That to me, and that's not even her husband or whatever, that to me is how you support and how you cover. That was a strong way of doing that. And so I think that that's a clear example of how that should happen, and should have been done better, by Will, by Will Smith. So that's kind of how I feel about that.
Yeah, and everything that I've seen, the overwhelming majority has been criticizing what Will Smith did, and coming to the defense of Chris Rock. So I do think everybody is supportive of what Chris Rock did or didn't do. So I don't see that part of it. But another thing that I saw when he was yelling those curse words and telling him to keep his name out his mouth, to me, nobody was home. Like when I looked in his eyes, the look that he had on his face originally, and when the camera cut back to him when he was yelling, it's like he had totally checked out. Again, I'm not excusing his behavior, but to me, there was some pain, trauma, and emotional hurt there from someplace. Also, when he apologized the first time, he never mentioned Chris Rock's name, which to me is not an authentic apology. But it also says to me that it was personal. There's some personal hurt there when you can apologize to everybody but the person who you assaulted. To me, that was personal. Now, I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but again, that's what I saw. I'm just pointing out what I saw. And for me, as a woman, and definitely all of us should be nonviolent, but as a woman, for me, the most powerful way for a man and my husband to protect me is emotionally. Like he could have very well, I mean, they were sitting 10 feet apart from each other. I mean, he could have very well moved his seat over to her. He could have held his hand. He could have, if he was going to be that dramatic to get up on stage and make the scene like that, he could have made a scene, physical scene to go over there and comfort his wife. Why couldn't that be the reaction? So for me, emotional support is the way to support a woman. Like you're saying, Dr. Nicole, to me, that's what Cory Booker was doing. He was providing emotional support publicly for her. And that's the way to protect your woman. Now, a lot of people are talking about what happened with August and the whole entanglement thing, and he's trying to get his manhood back. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, they both have done their dirt. So I don't see how the entanglement had anything to do. I think they both played both sides of the fence. He done his dirt and she done her dirt. And again, nobody knows, but I don't see the entanglement thing having anything to do with it.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with you, Lavonda. He definitely could have showed her more support by doing what you said, just scooting your chair up because you laughed. Your apology should have been like, you. I should not have laughed. Let me come over here and console my wife, who I know is hurting on the inside. That to me is way more masculine than what he did. Um, so I definitely agree with that. And then to go back to what you were saying, Nicole, about how Jada Pinkett Smith is put that she might come off and be like, oh, I don't care, and then really deep down she cares about how she feels about her hair and all that stuff. Well, then say that. Let's not put that wall up. The many a times that if you're, because her big thing is women empowerment. That's why she did the Red Table Talk, to have people come on, break down, and have your women empowerment. Well, okay, then you need to do the same. You need to stop telling people you don't care about how you feel about alopecia when you really deep down are struggling with your emotions with this situation. That's how I feel about that. So don't put that guard up and say it doesn't bother you when it really does bother you. And your platform is to bring women on, and even men on, to say, hey, let's sit down and let's have this conversation. Let's break down these walls. Practice what you preach. That's how I feel on that issue with her. And also, I haven't heard the August situation, the entanglement being the issue. I keep hearing Tupac. That's that's the word around the street, is her and her relationship with Tupac, and how that was really the issue between Will and Jada anyway, was her love, or is, I won't say was, apparently it's still there, her love for Tupac. But again, we're outsiders looking in. We don't really know their situation. Well, no, let me stop lying, because he wrote a book about it. So we don't, and he definitely wrote a book about it and put it all out there. But that's, we're outside looking in, don't really 100% know the situation and how they're living and what their marriage is looking like and what they're trying to save and whatever. But to stick to the topic, no, a man should not, by any race, color, creed, protect your woman by smacking another man if he didn't put his hands on that woman. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I agree that if there's not a direct threat of life or harm to bodily, to body or limb, then yeah, the hands shouldn't go up. But I do think I agree with you. So she has a platform. Jada has a platform that is empowering women. However, she's very much on that journey herself, and so it's kind of like the first thing that comes to mind to me is like when people say that they are Christian, and then you don't do something perfect, and you get criticized. And how can you be Christian because you acted like X, Y, and Z? Well, you're a work in progress because none of us are perfect. And so I think that that's very much, again, I think we can put people on pedestals and expect, and yeah, we do expect more from them and what have you, but we're harder on them than we are on ourselves going through those same types of things, and what have you. And I realize they're in the public light and they probably are held to a higher whatever, but at the end of the day, they're still human. And so these things still are going to happen if people have true pain or different things that they're dealing with. And pain doesn't, it can mean a lot of different things. And it doesn't have to be from childhood, like, something was wrong with my mama and something was wrong with my daddy, although that usually is intertwined in there, as we've talked about on many of our mindset calls, as far as what we hear and what we see. And that's what we record in our subconscious, and that comes through. And so we don't know what that is. And just like many times, we don't even know what we have left from what we've experienced through our lives, the things that we've heard, the things that we've seen, until we start working on those things. And so I think things get worse before they get better when you're doing that kind of work. You're exposing it with other people, that certain emotions actually get stirred up in you too, going forward. And so something you think that you dealt with, or somebody that you forgave, you actually haven't, and you actually didn't. And I've had that personally, come up for me in a couple of things. So, and you don't know until it's revealed and until you're aware. So, what do you do with that? But yeah.
Right.
So
And I was gonna say, I'm sorry. I was
no,
just gonna say sometimes maybe she didn't care then, but she cares now because we have a right to change our mind and our opinion. Because and I just see that I guess in a personal level, because there have been things that I said, well, I don't care about that, and then now I care about it. I might not have cared about it when I was 20. I'm 50 now, and maybe I care about it more now, and maybe I didn't realize it to that moment that you hit that
Right.
pain point, like you just said, Dr. Nicole, that it hurt. But again, she does have that platform, and if she's gonna be out there like this hard, I don't care about this and that, then if you put yourself out there in those circumstances, you
Yes.
gotta have a tougher skin and be able to take that kind of criticism. And as you said, Kim, you sit in front row to the Oscars. Chris Rock or any other comedian, you're gonna be the butt of the jokes when you're at the front of the room. And maybe because of the friendship, he felt more comfortable doing that. Like Dr. Nicole or
Yes.
you, Kim, probably could say something to me. We might have had a conversation about something that nobody else know about, and y'all could publicly joke with me about it, and it would be funny to me from you all, but it might not be funny from somebody else. So maybe that's how he felt, that having that relationship, maybe he felt that he should be able to have that joke with them, and they
Mm-hmm.
would be able to understand, hey, these are just jokes. I'm just doing my job. So
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. As a comedian, that would make me more comfortable too. If I saw y'all in the audience, I'm going straight for you. Okay, I know these people. Let me go for them. So
it makes sense.
yeah, that definitely makes sense. Plus, he's been doing this for how many years? 30?
Mm-hmm.
Long
The
time.
three of
Long
them,
time.
and the entire audience have been doing it for decades. So they know everyone. I mean, I don't know. Like you said, there's a lot going on there. I do like what Denzel Washington said, though. I like that he did pull Will to the side and was like, "Hey, I see there's some obvious pain here, and the devil attacks you when you're definitely on the right path." So Will Smith has been on this love journey, trying to mend his family. He's been talking about that in his book. So I definitely agree with that. I wish he would have also spoke to Chris Rock. That's all I'm saying. If you don't talk to Will, talk to Chris. See how Chris is feeling. That's my main focus right now. Is anyone talking to Chris? Has anyone called Chris Rock and asked Chris Rock how he the one that got slapped? He got slapped
Mm-hmm.
and he didn't retaliate. And another thing that upsets me, because my wheels are turning, like Dr. Nicole mentioned, or was you the one? I can't remember, that the Oscars this year was produced by Black people. It was a Black person production, and Black people showed they tail. That just highly upsets me. And not just any Black people. Will Smith, you was our
Mm-hmm.
go-to. And
Yeah.
wow. So that's how
I
it's
think
just,
that upsets me the most.
yeah, that upset. Not to mention, he did get a well-deserved Oscar. I will not
Sure.
take the fact that he won that award, and it was well-deserved, and that overshadowed his
Yeah.
well-deserved
Right.
Oscar. That
Right.
just it's mm,
He should
mm,
have had to pick it up from the back.
yeah,
He shouldn't
mm.
have been allowed, in my opinion, to come across that stage
Well, that's the other thing.
and
How
get
do
an
you
award.
allow like things
Yeah.
to continue the way that they did? And so, it's almost like they perpetuated or even supported what happened by doing that. And so, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
why didn't
know.
they cut the camera? I like.
I think a lot of people
We
thought it
cut
was
the
a joke
camera
too.
and bleep out things all the time. I don't know
Right.
how we
Why
weren't able to
didn't
do
you,
that
when he
then.
got up, cut the camera, shut it down, cut the
Right,
camera.
because that's not in the script, right? That's not
True.
anywhere.
Maybe they
Anyway,
probably was in the back, like going through that note, like, what part is this? Is
where is
this
it?
this?
Where is
Did I miss some?
And also, I'm trying to also figure out how LAPD was ready. They didn't care who Will Smith was. You need us to arrest him? We can do that right now. Where did y'all come from? Where?
Well, that's interesting too. How that's done in a different way. In this, would that have happened in with somebody else up there of a different color? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Right.
know, but I
Mm,
don't think so.
I
I
don't
don't
either.
think
And
so either.
And so that's
And
really
that's
bothersome. And
That's
go ahead.
again, and I agree with you. That's what hurts me the most about this situation. It was us representing the Oscars, because that does not happen at all. They do not let Black people take over the Oscars, as that's been said. Matter of fact, Will and Jada have protested the Oscars on numerous
Right.
years because of that. And you showed your tail.
At the one,
I almost
at the
said
one.
a cuss word. They it just it shows something else. Yeah. And that's why I say if we want to be included, we want to be. And some people say, other races have done things and nothing, no consequences. Be that as it may be, but in most instances, when you assault someone, you are arrested. And so, if we want to be held to a certain standard when it comes to the quality and being invited to certain things, then we have to accept the consequences of our behavior. Also, you can't have it both
Absolutely.
ways. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. Wow. So it will go on because it just keeps mushrooming. Now we got the entanglement person coming through saying some stuff
What?
about Will. Oh, yeah, that was the last thing that I saw go across. Again, I don't watch the news. I just only saw like a headline. So I don't know the details about that. But apparently, this dude is coming back to say his piece now. But anyway,
My.
Lord.
so the drama goes on, but I hope that you guys are going to I see some comments there. Thank you, Dr. Cheryl, for putting that comment up there. Thanks for everybody watching on our YouTube channel, Serendipity. All right, so keep watching there because we're going to be back next Wednesday.
Oh, really quick, really quick. I know we would love to hear the male's perspective on this situation. Because y'all know we love to talk. We don't want to just, have just women's talk. We like to include
No,
our male counterparts. What do you all think about this
yes,
situation?
Great question.
absolutely. Yep.
Hmm.
So put it in the comments, drop it in the comments on our YouTube channel. All right. We appreciate everybody. Have a great night. Yeah, where is it? Down, up, sideways? It's down. See you guys next week. Take care.